Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to the Stardust Show. It's the second show today. And wherever you are in the world, it's time to join us. I have the privilege of introducing you tonight, Dr. Wendy Sneddon. Welcome, Dr. Wendy Sneddon. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. And thank you for inviting me on the show tonight. I'm very excited to be here.
So I know that there are a lot of things happening in your life, and they're all amazing things, and we don't know where to start. It's so much going on, but it's far from being overwhelmed because you are the core of structure. You are somebody who really knows what being organized and disciplined and focused, and above all, you lead with passion. You lead with purpose.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about the beginning of your journey, Dr. Wendy Sneddon.
So I was, again, like a lot of people, I'd always wanted to write a book. And I had spent quite a lot of time as a junior manager, getting frustrated by more senior people in the business not doing things in the right way, or always recognizing ways that they could maybe do things better. And I kind of moved myself up into the position where I could do more and more of that. I've done a lot of kind of recruitment and work with employee engagement in organizations, and so I was inspired to write a book to help entrepreneurs. So I'm the author of the book Get Out of Your Way. It's the step-by-step guide in how to attract, recruit and retain a winning team, and it's really designed for entrepreneurs to help them understand what they need to have in place before they bring a team in, what the culture needs to look like, what their vision for the business is, and how they can articulate that. And then the practical, how do you actually go about recruiting somebody? How do you advertise? What's the kind of process you go through? And it can be a legal nightmare sometimes. So it's kind of, takes you through that step by step. And then at the end of the book talks about the kind of things you need to do, to be thinking about doing in order to keep people in your business. Because recruiting somebody, I think I did some research, and it can cost anywhere from 40,000 to 80,000 to replace somebody, depending on the level of the position they are in your company. So that's a lot of money. And if you're having, if somebody's leaving on a regular basis, that could be quite costly to your business. So I was inspired to write this book to help more entrepreneurs who are either starting out on their journey or have maybe made some mistakes and thought, how can I do this better? And that's what inspired me to write the book. The book came out in June last year, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it. It was a really exciting journey writing the book. I love doing a bit of the research, pulling it all together, and that was a whole kind of educational process in itself. And then I went to Canada to launch the book because the company that I'd written the book with were based out there, and they invited me out to do the book launch. And that was a fabulous opportunity as well. And it was at that event that I met Dr. Cheryl Chapman. And so I arranged to kind of meet up with her when we got back to the UK, because Cheryl's from the UK too. And through Cheryl, I was of course introduced to yourself. So everything happens for a reason, and having this book has brought great opportunities into my life, and I feel really blessed.
I remember when we met, it was at the BAFTAs.
Yes.
In London. And you've been on stage, you've been autographing your book. We have the autographing session, autographing hour for your book, and people from all over the world were there to celebrate you and ask questions. And in many ways, the journey, because I just happened that my first book I was guided by the same publisher, Raymond Aron Group. Or Aron Group. So it was a 10-10-10 program, which was a brilliant opportunity, which basically not only that opened so many doors for me personally, but opened the doors into my own heart. Finally, I got to understand that I have something that nobody else could have. And it's so unique to me. It's just a question of monetizing. It's a question of turning that unique talent, that solution I had for other people, into a system, into a transferable system, into a formula that works fast results. So I know what I'm doing is different than what you are doing, and but I know that what you are doing is something that not many people dare step into that topic, because it's almost like once you think of cash flow, of recruitment, of finance, you open Pandora's box. But you bring something that everybody needs, in my humble opinion. I think what you have is the holy grail of being an entrepreneur. So tell us more about the formula you are offering to entrepreneurs who most of the time they have a great idea, they have a great vision, but they don't necessarily have the team behind to make that happen.
Yeah, so I think what I recognized in a lot of the entrepreneurs that I either worked with or came across during my time was that they were absolutely brilliant at what they do. So they've created something amazing, they've built a product, they're passionate about it, and they, you know, they take it out to the market, and they've become really successful. Then there comes a point in time where they can't do any more than what they're physically doing. So they have to look at bringing people into the business to kind of help them grow, or do they sell at that point? You know, that they need to make some decisions, and they don't often, sometimes they don't, they're working too hard before they realize, so they'll pull people in to help without much thought, and then end up with a, you know, a group of people that maybe aren't right for their business, so the business doesn't go the way they thought it was going to go. So, you know, I've seen a lot of people make a mess of that kind of early stage journey of their business, and so I think if they, you know, throughout the journey, when I'm coaching that I take them on, it's the first thing we look at is, you know, why are you doing this? What is it that really inspired you, and what is it that makes you get out of bed in the morning? Because that's what you need to be focusing on all the time. And when life gets tough, you know, remembering why you're there is what will keep you going through those tough periods. So once we're happy then that they're doing the right thing, they're in the right business, this is the right way to take what they're doing. We look at what is the vision for the business, you know, where do they see that business growing, what's their kind of dream for the business in the future, and what sort of you know, in the next 5 years, where do they want to see it in the next 10 years, you know, and eventually how do they plan to get out of the business? You know, are they passing it on to family members, or, you know, are they looking to create something that they can sell? And then it's even thinking about, well, who would buy this type of business? Because we should always be preparing, you know, for that kind of exit, even though it might be a long time away. So once they've got that vision kind of articulated, it's then helping them be able to translate that and communicate that to other people, because that's what's going to attract other people in to work with them. We need to understand.
So basically, first you have to buy your own dream.
Yeah,
Then
pretty much.
you have to sell it to others. So
Yes,
it will
yeah,
become, your vision could become a reality, having the right people in your team, having
yeah.
the right people to support your purpose. How
Absolutely,
difficult was
absolutely.
for you to turn this big dream, this vision of helping entrepreneurs to turn themselves into successful brands? How difficult was to start with? So you wrote the book, and then what happened?
So when I wrote the book, uh, really the book is like my business card. So when I'm meeting people who I'd like to work with, it's kind of the first thing I show them, and I ask them to read it. And then once they've read it, I ask them for some feedback, and generally that starts the conversation about, so what's going on in your business and where are you? And usually within a half-hour conversation, I can identify some key areas where, I can see that they might need some help, and then I can put some suggestions to forward in terms of how I might be able to help them move forward.
So in other words, you did not think that you are Shakespeare, and once you publish the book, money will start pouring into your account. You realize that is your birth certificate, is your business card, it is your entry, it is your opening line. And publishing your book on Amazon is a great thing. It's just to make yourself um, remarkable, make yourself findable, make yourself visible. But basically, it is up to you to allow your book to take you places, or you to take your book places, to meet new people, to total strangers, because that gives you the chance to discover your own new self. So tell us more about, so being on Amazon, of course, is a privilege, and there are billions of books which are already there. But standing out from that massive collection of great ideas, perhaps is challenging. So do you mind sharing with us how you walk the talk? So I remember we met at the BAFTAs, you've been speaking on stage. It's been a great excitement talk. Everybody was coming to you asking for more questions. Perhaps you made, and I hope you made a lot of connections. So tell us more about walking the talk.
Yeah. So when I was told the book was ready for sale, and I got my first 100 copies, that was very, very exciting. And then the book was put onto Amazon, and with the help of the Raymond Aaron Group, they helped me sort all that out, and that was really great. I have to say it was a bit disappointing, a week later to go back and check and no one had bought it. And of course you've got to tell people it's there, and so the whole marketing bit, I think, was an area I hadn't really thought about. And it wasn't something that was kind of part of the course, and I guess now they're looking at that. So I had to think, how am I going to let people know that this book exists and get it promoted? So I, having met Cheryl and done a bit of work with her, and then heard about the Radio Works World Awards, I thought, okay, I need to go there. I need to go meet these people, and I need to go on stage. Now that's not something that I was really looking forward to, because public speaking's not, I've done a little bit of classroom teaching, and I've done quite a lot of one-to-one coaching. But to stand up in front of a few hundred people was very, very daunting. I had a little bit of coaching from Cheryl before I came on stage, and I actually really enjoyed the whole experience, and it was great. And yes, I made lots of connections, and I'm still in touch with those people, and they're forwarding my details on to people that they know would be interested. So it has kind of snowballed, and it's led to the award of a honorary doctorate, which was just absolutely amazing. I'm just blown away. So there was a lot of work going into writing the book. It was even harder getting it edited, formatted, and published. And then the next bit is harder still. So the writing the book was the easy bit. And I think that having a marketing plan and knowing how you're going to get your name out there, and it's really, really challenging. I think Radio Works World offers an amazing platform to help authors and entrepreneurs launch what they do, and be able to talk about it and become more widely known.
So I think because I had the same experience myself, and even everybody thought I was very successful selling all these books. The book was selling, and I sold by accident a large amount. And then I've been traveling the world, doing book launch after book launch. I never felt successful inside. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a distinction between what other people see and how you feel. So yes. The whole idea behind the Radio Works World is to create the experience, to bring people on the red carpet, to be photographed, to be videotaped, to be broadcasted, to be on radio shows, TV, and on the front cover of magazines. And actually, your book is not only that it's been voted as book of 2017 and you received the awards, but your book is going to reach the threshold by the end of this year of selling 6,000 books, and that will make you a real bestseller, not an Amazon bestseller, which I don't think is anything wrong with that, but most people aspire to that. But your book is going to be actually physically in the hands of 6,000 people.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So that is almost like taking real responsibility for your talent and making sure you have the structure, which I know you do, to lead your purpose and help these people who are looking up to you. Now you are a celebrity in your field. You are wanted by so many people. They all want to be coached by you. And we have a program which is going to start very soon. And it's very exciting. But I just wonder how that transformed you as a person, how that makes you feel.
I suppose I didn't really understand my value, and not even when producing the book. It wasn't until I met somebody at a networking event, and he was a lawyer, and he was starting his own business, and I said, would you do me a favor? Would you I told him about the book, gave him a copy, and said, would you have a read of it and put a review on Amazon for me? Because that's, we want to try and get lots of reviews on Amazon. So he went away and he phoned me the next day and he said he'd read it overnight. He said it just took him like a couple of hours. It's not a big book. He reckoned there's about £2,500 worth of consultancy in this book. And I hadn't even thought of the knowledge and energy that had gone into the book from a value point of view, and so that really hit home that actually I actually know quite a lot about that subject and I can really help people, and that that was really powerful to me, sort of having that acknowledged, and then winning the awards for the book, all of that adds up and just makes me start to appreciate my value and my worth.
So it's almost like you are awakening into this new dimension where you could see yourself for who you are and for you, because you've always been creating and delivering value. But now it's a total different proposition. Now you are sharing what I call your genius, what I call your stardust. And that is exciting. That is a very almost like an unknown journey. It's almost like walking into serendipity. It's always something else happening. It's simply because I was thinking about this for quite a long time now. And now I understand that before I used to align my values with my actions and my beliefs. But now I recognize my passion, my calling, my purpose, and I don't leave home without it, So I align my actions, my values, and my beliefs with my emotions. And that makes it a whole, makes it a driving engine for I never get tired. I started very early this morning. I had a couple of clients. I had another long show before. But yes, I forgot to brush my hair. But, doesn't matter anymore, because inside I feel like Zen. I feel that this is what I am designed to be, and helping other people to see their true value is something I'm very, very passionate about, and sharing your passion. So tell us more now about the ramifications of your purpose, because now you discover your purpose, you lead with purpose. And what else is happening in your world?
Well, I've just hot off the press.
Breaking news! I love that.
I don't know if you can see that there. I got the opportunity to co-author a book with Dr. John Gray, with Marcy Shimoff from The Secret, and with Raymond Aaron himself.
Wow.
So the book is it's powerful wisdom for leaders in the field, and it's basically chapters. Each chapter is unrelated, but it's all to do around leadership, and so that's really, really exciting to be amongst, you know, these amazing
So is that
authors.
the authorities? Yes, it's called
Yes, it's
the
called The
authorities.
Authorities. It's part of a series, and yeah, it's a real privilege to have been given the opportunity to do that. So that'll go out in the next few weeks, which is really quite exciting.
Wow, that's something so special. Just being creating and delivering something with people who are out there who are doing that transformational change for so many hundreds of thousands of people.
Yes,
Collectively, these people they move the world. Collectively,
they do.
if you put them together and you are one of them, they
Yes.
actually changed the face of entrepreneurship. They actually changed the way people look at themselves. And
Yeah.
I know because I benefited from their hard work, and I'm very grateful for being guided by Raymond Aaron at the beginning of my journey. And it's almost thinking that these big bolted doors, you can't even think of opening or entering them. But then suddenly they open wide.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's an amazing experience. Yes.
Yeah. And feel so privileged to be amongst, you know, to be named amongst them. It's just, it's incredible.
Dr. Wendy Sneddon, congratulations again.
Thank you.
So what else? Tell us more, because I know there are a couple of other layers to your purpose. And I know you have many talents, and of course, like every single person I met, each time I meet you, I see something else in you, and something else is growing. So in your case, because you have a structure, you are very focused on what is in front of you, and you have a formula that brings together all the resources you need as an entrepreneur to make it happen, to turn that vision into a reality, is
Yes.
perhaps very different for you. So tell us what is next. So the new book is coming out. You are one of the authorities. Congratulations again. What else?
Yeah. So I've created an online platform for entrepreneurs to come to and get support for their business. So mainly HR support. It contains all the policies and procedures they might need for setting up their business. And I think when anyone's starting out in business, whether you employ one person or 1,000, you need all of these policies and documents. So I've created them all, and they're there waiting. It's a membership site, so you pay a monthly fee and you get access to them. They're kept up to date. There's a forum in there where you can ask questions, and I'm on there answering questions all the time. So you've kind of got access to, you know, an HR expert, if you like, most of the time. There's also I've created a piece of online software, and it's basically you can keep all your employee data together. So one of the challenges is when you start employing people, you need to keep records, and in most places there's a drawer somewhere where all the paperwork sits, and then when somebody has a contract issue, you know, they're faffing around trying to find the contract, they can't find the information, the handbook's out of date. So the site basically keeps all that information together, and it also has the platform to be an intranet system. So if you have employees that maybe work from home, then they can log in and send messages and communicate. And again, if they're working remotely, they can access anywhere they've got an internet connection, they can access all of that information. So it's great. A lot of companies don't take on HR software until they get really big. But actually, my recommendation is get employee software as soon as you have an employee, and it just helps you know that you've got everything that you need for them. Everything's in one place, and it just helps keep you legal and safe.
Fascinating. So I know that you have a very structured mind. You are very well organized businesswoman, but you are also the owner of a huge heart. So tell us more about your love for people who need help.
Yeah, so I'm very passionate about animals. I started life as a veterinary nurse, so I kind of worked with animals for a long time. Um, One of the things that appalled me as I've been sort of working through my career is that people actually hurt animals. You know, people abuse animals, and so I joined a group called the Lynx Group, and the Lynx Group were it's a multi-agency group with people from the veterinary world, from the animal protection agencies, and also from social work, health visitors, and kind of from the human sector. And what's been happening over the last sort of 10 to 15 years is we've been sharing information, and there is a link between abuse of humans and abuse of animals. So where animals are abused, humans are at risk, and where humans are abused, animals are at risk. So we created a training course for vets to recognise non-accidental injuries in animals, and we've been going around the UK delivering that. We've also created, now just it goes live in September, we've just created a module for health visitors and social workers to recognise when if they go into a home to do an assessment with a family, if there is a pet in the household, to understand whether that pet's welfare needs being met, to make sure that there's no signs of abuse there. Because we've had instances of where the reporting of the abuse of an animal has led to the perpetrator being taken away from the home and then the family being safe. So it's that case of, you know, if we can report abuse of animals, we might help a human. And also, you know, if we report if there is children being abused in a home, or a female being abused in a home, and there are animals there, we should also be alerting the animal protection agencies and welfare agencies to make sure that they go in and help too, because we know that there's a potential that they could be being abused as well. So we've been working with the professionals, but one of the biggest frustrations for me is that people I talk to go, oh yeah, it suddenly clicks that there might be a connection. So I've created the Say Something Foundation, and the Say Something Foundation is encouraging people to get to know your neighbours, and if you think something's not right, to say something, because you could help save a life.
So I could say that since you decided to help other people, you went through a massive transformational change.
Yes.
But you never forgot why you started the journey.
No.
So you never got diverted. You never thought, I'm going to make a lot of money and that's all I want. You always thought that actually, I want to lead with purpose other entrepreneurs. I want other people to see that they could help end abuse, cruelty to animals and people. They could do a lot of good into the world.
Yes,
and this
absolutely.
is what is your purpose. This is what is your calling.
Yes.
And I know that you are going, I don't know if you want to share, but I know you are going a step further into this passion to help others. And you are creating the logistics behind, the logistics that are needed behind to offer more support to those affected by cruelty and abuse.
Yeah, so one of the big challenges that people who are affected by abuse face is if they have a pet, it's very hard for them often to leave that situation, because they don't want to leave the pet behind, and there are very few places, refuges, that will allow families to take their pets with them. So one of the things I'm doing is I do a bit of property investment, and we're starting to look at the social housing aspect and how we can help create housing for people that are fleeing domestic violence, and also how we can encourage other housing associations that help these people, to encourage them to allow pets to stay with their families, because most people's pets are like their babies. They're part of the family. And the fact that we know that people have been killed because they've stayed in a situation because they refused to leave. They didn't want to leave their pet behind. So it's fairly serious.
Wow. So let's take a break and read some of the messages we have here from the Radio World family. I'm not quite sure who they are, but let's take them one by one.
Okay.
So we could start with Roger. Roger says hi. Hi, Roger. Thank you for watching. Then somebody says, I don't know who from the Stardust team is saying, I like that, Dr. Wendy. Let your book be your business card.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And there is another one. Nice to see you front and center, Wendy. All credit to the Queen of Stardust for recognizing your genius. Wow, thank you. And another one. Wow, you kept that quiet today, Wendy, so you must know who the person is. Somebody else said, Marina Nani opens doors for people just like you.
Absolutely.
And Jill. Jill Barham, Dr. Jill Barham, thank you for listening in, and thank you for all your shows. And perhaps now it's time to do some more breaking news that you are going to launch your first show, stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and couple of other platforms, iTunes and so on, very soon. So tell us more.
Yeah, so starting from next Tuesday, the 22nd at 12 o'clock, we'll be live with Radio Works World hosting the Lodestone Live, where we'll discuss topics around HR and business. I'll invite people in to put questions in if they've got issues going on they want to discuss, and we'll be inviting guests in who can share their experiences and give advice to people as well. So really looking forward to getting that started.
Wow, this is almost like snowballing into
yes,
into a different reality, into a much better reality, not only for yourself, for your team, but also for total strangers who are listening right now, people who perhaps never thought that they could have access to the same tools like any other corporation out there who is successful already, and they could turn their dream into a big success. They could monetize their big idea. They will have the tools to actually go out into the world and create and deliver value. And of course, the world is paying you for the service you provide. So once you do things the right way, for the right people, for the right audience, perhaps everything is not anymore just a question mark. It's not a doubt. You start to understand your true worth. And this is what we are together. We are working towards allowing people to see their true worth. Because I think that the difference between very successful people and people who are struggling is simply because the first category, the very successful people, understood their worth. They understood what they're made of, and I can share this with you, if you allow me, that you are stardust. From both of us, until next time, share your stardust, come back, join us on the red carpet, join Dr. Wendy Sneddon show. The other shows we have, they're all designed for you. There are shows on sharing your story, shows on well-being, shows on health, wealth, um, diamond ideas, and there is a ray of brilliancy that we don't want you to hold back from. We want you to join us and understand that what you have, it is unique to you. And what you have is waiting for you to put your name on it. From both of us, until next time, goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.